Hello everyone, and welcome to a Statgrass Creations vlog. We're continuing on with the Circle of Orboros commission, and today is basing. So this is just going to be a standard sand flock base, or whatever it's called, ballast. Has little pebbles in it, another, I don't know what it's made out of, maybe cat litter, I guess, I don't know. But usually people use white glue for basing. I actually like to use super glue because it's harder to chip off, has more stickiness than white glue does, and yeah, mostly just durability issues. I just have that little paddle thing, just dip it right into an extra bottle of super glue. Typically I just use a super glue that has essentially expired. It doesn't have stickiness anymore. Usually it happens good 8 months off the shelf, and that's after heavy use, right? Yeah, the other bottle that actually that I use is kind of losing its adhesiveness. Yeah, the only reason why I'm taking off the cap there is because it glued shut, so I need to actually dip it. Usually if it's just a normal bottle of super glue, I can just squeeze it onto the base and then use the paddle to spread it, but I need to actually dip it in this case. Yeah, I'm going through these guys pretty quickly, I think. There's going to be a shorter vlog episode. Yeah, I'm always I'm a sucker for just a standard ballast and probably static grass of some sort. But this commission, the client requested swamp bases. So it's still the ballast or sand flock, but maybe with some flower tufts or poison ivy tuft or bush or something like that. Yeah, you'll see it later in a later vlog. Yeah, unless someone requests it, I usually just do the standard static grass and sand. I've done snow. I've done crushed glass snow as well. Crushed glass snow looks really good. It really does. I get that from Secret Weapon Miniatures. They sell it separately as well as a little bundle where you get crushed glass. It's actually crushed glass, so you should wear a mask and gloves when working with it. And it also comes with a bottle of water effects. This water effects is actually quite good. It has a little like a spout, right? And it dries clear. You're supposed to do it in thin layers like any other water effects. And yeah, it's kind of like a soft resin, I suppose. Soft clear resin when it dries. Yeah, so you mix that with the crushed glass on the bait. You mix it in like a little tub or a cup or whatever, and then you apply it with the paddle or a applicator or something like that to just straight to the base. You shape it up a little bit, maybe put in little footprints or something, and then when it dries, it looks like slush. And depending on how slushy you want it, you add more water effects, or if you want it fluffier, or fluffier, then you add more crushed glass. Because it's crushed glass, it looks white, and you don't need to add in paint or anything like that. I've seen other recipes for snow, so you can get and they all have their strengths and weaknesses. You can use the regular snow flock from Games Workshop or Woodland Scenics, and that's just white flock. You just put that on, boom, done. Really easy to do. Other recipes, you need a little bit more work. One, if you want really puffy, fluffy snow, is baking soda. I know, right? It's baking soda, white paint, and white glue. I think Blue Table Painting does that mostly. That's where I heard it from anyway. That's their recipe. And I know I've seen it on Warseer or Bolter and Chainsword or something like that on other forums for board games. Oh, I just kind of spilt there a little bit. That's okay. Yeah, it's baking soda, PVA glue, and white paint. And because PVA glue kind of dries a little bit yellow, you need that white paint in there to keep it white. And just like the crushed glass I was telling you about, you just mix it up in a little cup or whatever, and then you just apply it straight to the base. Yep. And you can also use the water effects for, you know, other things, like actually making little puddles or even doing mud. I did mud on a Khador army. He wanted a muddy, slushy snow bases. I still have a couple test bases from that. It does look really good. Yeah, I have Forge World pigments. It's just powder, right? You just kind of put that in there. You put in the white or the water effects. You put in some sand flock in there to get them to get some substance going. And a little bit of crushed glass for that slush, and then you apply it. It's like a paste, right? You apply it straight to the base, maybe with the model on it, at least the feet, so you kind of know where they're standing. You can put some footprints or whatever on there, and then while it's still drying, while it's still wet, you put on some more crushed glass, so you have like a snow top. And then underneath is mud, right? It ended up looking really, really good. And as a commission painter, you do need to charge more for that. I do charge more for that. It is a lot more work than just, you know, putting on sand and then static grass. So you need to pay yourself, right? So, and for the materials too. It's like it's like what, $15 or something like that. $15 US from Secret Weapon Miniatures for the water effects and crushed glass. Like, I mean, you say, oh, it's just crushed glass and, you know, water effects. No one knows what water effects is unless they, you know, have worked with this stuff, right? And they're like, $15 for this. It's like a little tub, right? And you only get however many ounces for water effects. Like $15 for that? Oh my god! But I still haven't used it up, and that Khador army had its colossal, like 20 Winter Guard and a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's lasted me quite a while. Yeah, unfortunately with applying the super glue like this, just like with PVA glue as well, if you're using that, you will get flock stuck on the model itself, so just kind of clean that up there. Yeah, in the first vlog, I mentioned that some people like doing the base separately and stuff like that. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do that. But this is part of the reason why I like building the model first, particularly the feet, because I don't like putting the model on top of a ready-made base unless it's just he's standing on a rock or something. But if they're on the ground, and I kind of want to have the perception of weight. So obviously, you know, when you're standing on ground, particularly grass and mud and dirt, if you weigh anything, you will make an imprint. Obviously these guys weigh something, so, and the sand flock isn't like microscopic, right? They're actually you know, bigger than chunks of sand. There's sand. I do have sand in there, but I filled it back up with medium ballast. I think that's what it's called, from Woodland Scenics, and it is the bits are bigger than grains of sand. So now when I paint it, it's going to look like they're inside the scene rather than on top of the scene, if you know what I mean. Yeah. I always like to look at the model as a canvas, and even the base is also part of the canvas, and I want the model to be in it, the base included. And I'm moving on to the metal models. This is going pretty fast. Tonight I'm making pulled pork. If you can hear the fan in the background, that's just me slowly boiling away at pork shoulder. Haven't had pulled pork in a little while, so I'm excited. Gotta be careful for the slot bases. I keep trying to say slot bases because that's what Games Workshop calls them, but that's not necessarily what Privateer Press calls their bases when they have slots in them. I always like that term, slot base. Yeah, so I don't want a gap in where the slot is, but also I don't want the ballast to build up from that, so you have to actually, after you apply the flock onto the gap, you have to take a flat edge, or at least the end of my applicator, to kind of spread it out, push it down a bit so it's even, unless you want it a little bit of a bump in the middle there. But typically when you want a bump, you want more than one, probably not in the center of the base, maybe just off to the side, maybe more randomly done, something like that, more natural looking, instead of, you know, in a straight line across the middle of the base. I think Morvana the last one, maybe Morvana's the last one. Yeah, this is another one of those vlogs where I'm doing the audio after the fact. Pretty sure Morvan is the last model. Yeah, she is going to look so good painted. I'm going to be doing all these at my detailed level, so there's going to be highlights, a little bit of shading, mostly washes as the shading, but we highlights to make everything just pop. It's going to look really good. Yeah, so next time everything is going to be all painted, or primed, I mean. Everything's going to be primed, and I'm going to start painting. I don't know who I'm going to start with first, though. Probably not Morvana. I want to save her. Probably for last. Maybe I'll do the Union. I don't know. Alright, so that is it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.